Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. Today, I'm your host Harry, and today we are recapping week 6 victory against the Washington Commanders. I am tired. We're gonna keep this short and sweet. I wasn't even gonna do this, but I said, hey, let me just make sure we get our weekly recap in. Obviously, I didn't do it after the game last night. But anyway, so bad inclement weather and Washington road test, and it's kind of crazy. I know we have the NFC East this year, but it's kind of crazy that they made our game an away game. It probably was how it worked out with the schedule with the NFC East, but still, like, y'all made us go there last year in prime time, and y'all gonna make us go back. I feel like that's kind of that, like, what they should have came here. But anyway, so back where we know what happened last year, and we were able to pull out the win at the end, get the victory. Look, overall, defense, I think defense is above average. They're fine. Still too many coverage busts with the backups, but even Stevenson himself. So those things got to get cleaned up. We had Kyler Gordon back, which helps, but obviously we're not at full health. And then lack of pass rush. That's the same thing we're going to talk about all the time. We did see, I think, some different looks in terms of pass rush plan. Just probably, I'm guessing, because Jaden Daniels is so mobile, but also it's probably because we're coming off the bye and had time to install that. So we saw a little bit different looks, and some of them hit home, some of them did well. Having TJ Edwards, again, our linebacker core is very dynamic, but Washington, for the most part, last night, I can't speak about the rest of the year, but last night they used a lot of concepts over the middle, especially with Ertz, and just really try to pull those linebackers back. So Jaden Daniels has pretty much a two-way go. Either you're going to sit up and play Jaden Daniels and allow some of those routes over the middle of the field, or you're going to get your coverage depth, and that allows an easy lane for Jaden Daniels to step up and pick up yards. And, that's just kind of the conflict that they put you in. And so I won't even say that was necessarily a bad job by the linebackers, not that I could tell anyway, just from the regular film, or from the regular TV version. But I think, it was okay. It was okay. We had we had the Luke McCaffrey touchdown, then the Lane one that got them to the goal line. So two really big play, and I won't even say it was a bust on the play to Lane. Like, Stevenson just got beat with a double move. So just so some big explosives that were tough, but it was very, like I said, above average game. Offense, I thought some good things in the run game. And I would have to look at the all 22 to figure out what was happening. But a few times I just saw the linebackers being out of gap, which I know Luvu was all second team all pro. I think Bobby might have been. I don't know, but obviously Bobby's a great linebacker. And so it was really weird to see them just like not being gap disciplined. And so that was a few of the big runs I saw, but I think most of us saw we hit the perimeter a lot, just really getting out in space. And I don't know, man. I really, like I said, I have to go to the film to see why that was more successful. Like I said, there was a few runs that I saw and they showed replay where I could see, and it was actually, one was Bobby. He jumped into the wrong gap. And then one was Luvu, where he jumped to the wrong side and got pinned. And I do think Swift was way more decisive, though. And that might have been because the lane was clear. But in some of the runs that I saw, especially against the Raiders, making not the correct reads, and definitely not explosive through the gap. So I thought that was a lot different last night against the Commanders. So that looked good. I mean, offense, like the system wise, is pretty much everything we've been seeing. Pretty consistent. And then I think the one thing that really everybody wants to talk about always is Caleb. And Caleb was okay last night. Obviously, that last drive when it really mattered was able to execute, and that's important. But I'm gonna tell you, man, and it might. I don't know if it was a big impact having that slick conditions with the ball, but his accuracy and ball placement is bad. It's just bad. Last night it was horrible. And like I said, even if it was the case where he was impacted by the rain, even on the regular days, his accuracy and ball placement is not great. It's not even very good. And he just misses, like, he just puts the ball in the wrong place. Or I don't even know if he can't put it there, or if he's throwing, a lot of times he's throwing late over the middle. But so there was the one play that was almost an interception in the white zone where he was throwing to Loveland into the end zone, and Mike Sandstrill, number 0, tipped it. And I think it was Aikman, he pointed it out. He was like, even if Sandstrill wasn't there, that ball wouldn't have been catchable because he threw it so far behind Loveland that he wouldn't have been able to stop and turn around and make that catch. And so he just more often than not, his accuracy, he's not able to put the ball where he wants to. And that worries me. Now, we know about the reading progression, and I think his pocket ability's always been good, but holding on to the ball too long, taking sacks, stuff like that, those main things that everybody's looking at. And to be honest, and I said as much when I posted this stat, but if you listen to some people going into last night, a lot of his numbers showed that he is processing slower than last year. And I should say the ball's coming out slower. I don't know if it's obviously a processing issue. I don't know if he's processing slower, but he's not getting the ball out even as quick as he was last year, which I know a lot of people feel like, oh, it's cleaner. And in some aspects it is, but really, as I said, going into this week, he's takes the longest over Justin Fields to throw the ball. And we're in the top 10 in pressure rate. He doesn't get pressured a lot. And so that just tells you he is not seeing it for whatever reason. And last night, I do think there was some of that, but mainly the ball placement stood out to me as the biggest issue. Like the timing, I guess I can't say the timing is better and say he's not throwing it. But I think all the mechanical operations of the offense have looked better. It seems this offensive staff has given him much more clarity in what they want from him to operate this offense. However, his individual ability, I won't say he's struggling, but he's still barely average. And that's an issue. We know we had the fumble that really set us up to do what we had to do. Before that, we had a drive backed up and we didn't really go anywhere. So, and typically when you start off backed up that far, you probably won't. But either way, it was just too many missed opportunities. And honestly, there was some opportunities that the Commanders had that we got lucky breaks on. And so, it's tough, man. It's really tough to say. As I told y'all before, or not told you, but pointed out that they had a guy who did a deep, in-depth report about Caleb and his time last year. And he said they believe he has some form of learning disability that's close to dyslexia. And it's kind of hard I don't doubt them, because you wouldn't say that. And there was no refusal by Ryan Pace or anybody. Plus, there's other people in the league who have also co-signed that. So I don't know how much of a big of an impact that is. Again, even the article said that doesn't mean he can't do something. It just means how you teach him has to be different. But it's just something that's not clicking. But even still, people with Justin Fields, we see, and trust me, I'm right there with you. I don't think the Bears did him any favors, but we can't sit here and continue to act like the Bears made Justin Fields not able to read the field. That's not the case. That was something he came into the league with. He came into the league with certain issues, and it hasn't gotten better. That's who he is. And there's a number of people. I wish, if anybody knows, I do not, and maybe I'm just old, I cannot figure out how to find specific comments that I said on Facebook, because there was this one guy talking crazy in the offseason about Justin Fields. Or it might even been after the week one. And we got a couple people that I need all them people, whether you was talking to me or somebody else, if you been talking real crazy or you was talking that stuff about Justin Fields and we should have kept them, and see, look at all this. I need y'all in the front row right now. I need all those Justin Fields defenders in the front row right now after what you just saw last week with him in New York. So that's just how it is, man. Not obviously Caleb get better. I'm not saying he can't, but there's some things that they're just going to be tougher than others for certain quarterbacks, and we'll see, man. I have full faith that what he's been given in terms of, for the most part, skill. I think we still have a serious lack of speed. Even with Burden does provide some good juice, and I think that's one thing I might have missed when talking about that pick. I still feel like it was kind of high. But after looking at last year and pointing out, I was like the only one pointing out how slow we were. Adding that speed, I think, does make sense. I just feel like you could kind of get speed anywhere. It didn't have to be second round or whatever. But still, so Burton does add that little juice. But so we're missing out on team speed. But other than that, I have faith in the skills that they put around them. I have faith in the offense that I'm seeing. It all makes sense. It all works. It's connected. He's just, right now, everybody's looking and hoping for him to operate at a normal level. And that's not the ceiling that everybody's looking for when we first talked about Caleb. That's a step in the right direction, but him operating in a normal level is never going to be the bar. He has to get to a superstar point. And right now, I don't see that. I just don't see that trajectory. So, but it's 5 games. We got a lot more season to play. And you really, especially with a new coach in the system, you need at least a few years to let it gel. So we'll see. We'll see if he continues to make progress. So anyway, that's it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe. And remember, stay up and bear down.